My name is Emily Diamond, and my research topic was parent involvement. And the topic that I'm going to be focusing on is why parent involvement is important for students. So first, we're going to start off with what is parent involvement? So the amount of participation a parent has when it comes to schooling his and her child's life. This could mean going to school events, meetings, such as field trips, and it also means to volunteer your time and support at school and at home. When I'm talking about home, I mean helping with homework and asking what they learn and helping them study. And it also means staying up to date, meaning that they need to be up to date on what is happening at the school, asking their child what they're learning in school or what they might need help on. Okay, why is parent involvement important? I have a couple reasons to why, even though there are a lot more reasons to why parent involvement in a child's education is very important. The first one I have here is the child will have a more positive attitude towards school and also have more interest in what they're learning. Second of all, there will be a wider range of academic outcomes. And then for number 3, lower dropout rates. And then number 4, we have a healthier mental health. And with all these topics here, I will be digging deeper into all these in the next following slides. But this picture here, I have up here, it says what happens here, and this is at the school, and then it says depends on what happens here, and which really explains how what happens at home truly does matter and affects what happens at school. The love, the encouragement, the support, all that together will be shown in the classroom in all types of ways. So this next slide, we will be talking about how parent involvement leads to a positive attitude towards education. So a parent is the child's main role model. They're number one who spends the most time with them. They are the people that they usually look up to the most. And when a parent expresses to the child how important school is and why it is important, the child is more likely to be more interested in what they're learning in school and wanting to do better in school. If a parent were not to talk to their child about school or show interest in their school or care enough to ask how school is going, they're less likely to do well in school or feel like it does not matter, because if their parent does not show that it matters or that they're interested, it's less likely that the child will too. Here are some factors that contribute to a student's attitude towards school. We have number 1, checking homework. And that it can be as simple as, what are you working on? Or did you finish your homework? Or having even like a study time for this is a time you're at the table and you're for 30 minutes. For number 2, we have attending school academic programs. 3, we have advising their children in regards and matters of education. So if they have any questions like, how do I do this, or helping them apply for programs or colleges or whatnot, it's always nice to have a parent who is supportive and wanting to help you with those things. Number 4, advising on study habits. So if their child's having trouble with their homework or not turning in their work, there might be a reason why. For one, they don't know how to study for it correctly. And if you're there to help them with that and guide them through those steps to get them to understand their homework, it's more likely that their studying will help them do well. Number 5, we have studying habits, which means that there is a time and place where they do their homework. Number 6, discussing academic progress. So how they start from here and how they get to here and how they're going to do that, and if they need help during that progress. And for number 7, we have moderating out of school activities such as tutoring or sports or field trips or things like that. There are many different ways that a parent can help their child through their education at home or even at school. But at home, it can be as simple as like reading a book with them before bedtime or helping them study, and if they're studying for a test, to make it fun for them. Or it could be having homework time at the table, but you're there with them. This all can make a really big difference in a child's education and their success. This next slide, we will be talking about how parent involvement affects student achievement and success. When a parent is involved in their child's education, it really shows. I have a list here of the things that a student with a parent involvement are more likely to have. They'll have a higher achievement, a greater engagement in schoolwork, standardized test scores, grades and teacher ratings, and students are more likely to enroll in higher level programs. And they're more likely to pass their classes, attend school regularly, have a better social skills, and move on to post-secondary education. Go. Why these things happen more for children who have parents who are involved in their education is because the parent is showing interest and installing values of school, of being important. When a child has a parent that cares, they will have, if not all of these things that I just named above here, or at least most of them. Students do better when their families are involved and working together. Here is a short video talking about the importance of parent involvement for students.
Hello, my name is Sammy Espinosa. I'm president and CEO of the Raza Development Fund. August in the U.S. and obviously in Arizona is the month that we select for education. Education anymore is a subject that is controversial and at the same time one that's so necessary for our community. Controversial because you've got on one hand the public school system and the other you have charter schools, and of course you've got parochial schools and so on. But the reality of our community and our Latino community and poor communities across the country, the challenge is that the quality of the education, regardless of what part of the scenario it is, whether it's charter schools, public schools, or whether it's a parochial school. So the real question for us is really one geared around the parent. And at Raza Development Fund, we like to believe we impact families across the country through our services, financing projects. And we are one of the larger financiers of educational facilities across the country. But as we go into August, the real question for us, all of us, is, are we doing enough individually, whether as parents, as grandparents, as uncles and aunts, on supporting the children that are going to school? Are we reading with them? Are we taking time to ask how their grades are? Are we tracking the school itself to see whether in fact they're meeting their goals and objectives of educating our children across the country? It's an obligation not only to the public school system, but I think it's an obligation to all of us as adults to really love our children in a manner that also begs the question on how they're doing on the educational side. So as we go into August and we go into the month of education, let's ask ourselves a question: can we do more for our children? Can we help them have quality of the education regardless of what city or what community they live in? And I challenge you and I challenge ourselves, let's get our children very well educated for the future growth of the Latino community, but as important, the future growth for the United States of America. Thank you.
This slide, we will be talking about parent involvement and how it is linked to dropout rates. I have two charts here that I will be talking about. The first one we're going to start with is this one over here. We have 5 top reasons dropouts identify as major factors for leaving school. So the first one here, we have classes were not interesting, and that's 47%. We have missed too many days and could not catch up. That's 43%. We have spent time with people who were not interested in school. We have 42% over there. And for this one, we have had too much freedom and not enough rules in my life. That is 38. And the last one we have was failing in school, 35%. So with all these things here, all these reasons can be linked with not having the correct amount of parent involvement in their education, such as missed too many days and could not make them up. A few slides back, I talked about how parent involvement can affect students and them, how students who have parent involvement in their education, they're more likely to attend school. So this right here just shows that 43% missed too many days and could not catch up. If a parent was involved in this, they would not miss this many days to the point where they could not catch up. We have another example here, whereas they had too much freedom and not enough rules in their life. If you're involved in your child's school and in their environment, it is so important to have structured times to do your homework, to study, and to make school a priority in their life, and to tell them that this is important and this needs to be done. So let's say before you go hang out with your friends, make sure your homework is done. And maybe those kids here, they did not have that. They have too much freedom and not enough rules to have them do well in school. And then we have this chart over here, which is dropouts did not feel motivated or inspired to work hard. Now over here we have 69% was not motivated or inspired. This could be fixed if a parent was involved in the child's education. The child would have a more structured schedule at home with homework time showing interest and even helping them study, making it known that school is important. This number here, the 69% here could be prevented if only a parent could show interest in their child's work, to show that they care, that they're supported and whatnot, all of the motivation and inspired. A parent just needs to be there and ask how their grades are, what they're working on, and to let them know that they are there for them and to support them and that they're here to help. Go. So we talked about this huge chunk of the chart. We're now moving on to the other parts of the chart. So 4% here, this yellow here, is not sure. And then we have over here, we have was motivated and inspired, and that's only 27%. So those are the children who have parents who are motivating them, who are talking to them, who are communicating to them that school is important and why it's important, and encouraging them. This next slide that we will be going over is student achievement, how parent involvement affects student achievement and mental health. Student success is just as important as a student's mental health. Both can be treated in the same degree, and they actually work in hand. If you're not mentally okay, you're not going to do as well as you want to. If you're depressed, or if you don't have enough sleep, or you're lacking some type of mental thing. If the student's mental health is not well, like I said, they're not going to do as good. When parents are supporting and talking to them about school at home and at school and show interest in their work, it has been shown that it is linked with improved self-esteem, emotional self-regulation skills, and self-perceptions of academic complete. Okay, wait a minute. When parents are supportive at home and school, those things are shown that will happen. And also parents who keep track of their child's school performance and convey the importance of education may also contribute happiness and well-being. And it also reduces their emotional stress, the students' emotional stress, when they have a parent who is supportive and who is understanding and willing to listen. Oh my God, parent involvement is very important. In conclusion of everything that I just talked about, we talked about how it affects a student's success and other ways that it affects the student's life. We have a positive attitude and interest in school. We have a wider range of good grades, attending classes regularly, and then we have lower dropout rates, and then we have how it is shown to link to their mental health and well-being. And if a parent is not involved in the student's life, the outcome of that is that the student don't do as well. They don't show as much interest. They don't turn in their homework. They're not interested in school or engaged in school, and a lot of them end up dropping out because they're not motivated or inspired by their parents or their surroundings. To wrap everything up that I talked about, this is just a short clip of people explaining why parent involvement is important.
While they don't often agree on the solution, their prescriptions have
all of us, as citizens and as parents, are willing to do what's necessary to give every child a chance to succeed. That responsibility begins not in our classrooms, but in our homes.
A very important part of the educational process is to involve the parents.
To really involve parents and the entire community in ensuring that public education improves.
If we can have parental involvement, that's huge and terrific.
It is well documented and plain common sense that parental involvement in a child's education boosts student learning and improves both behavior and student attendance.
Unfortunately, there are still studies coming out that show that many parents feel that the total responsibility for the education of their students is the schools and the teacher. And that's not true.
There are no excuses. Because when you are in the building, boys see a good example, girls see a good example, and children will change their behavior just because they know you.
When I walk into a school with parent volunteers, community partners, I can just feel the difference in the building.
Our highest achieving kids always have parental support. What does that tell us? We've got to get parental support for more of our kids.
You've got to let your kid know you're invested. So when they come home, ask them, can I see your homework? Ask them, what did they do in school?
So that piece, that collaboration piece that I talked about before, more and more and more, I see that as the most important factor of helping kids learn.
Schools can't do it all by themselves. Okay? And if we don't find ways to engage parents, then we're not going to get it done.
My mom showed up in my school, scared me to death. She would look the teacher in the eye and say, my child will get an A in this class. It's either going to be your fault or his fault. If it's his fault, I'll take care of him at home. But if it's your fault, I'm coming back here.
I'm telling you, if everybody who is a parent who is listening right now went to your school and said to the teacher, tell me what I can do to help you help my child, you would get a different level of respect, and you would get a different level of return for your child. Would you not?
Look, everybody knows the kids whose parents show up, you can't help it by human nature. You pay particular attention to those children.
I'm not going to deny it's difficult. because all the factors that we've been talking about all weekend play into that. The employment issues, let's just take one of them, and the stress of lower income families and just trying to exist make it difficult, obviously, to get involved. But I think we have to start from the belief, a real belief, that family engagement is not external to the process of education.
In the end, there is no program or policy that can substitute for a parent, for a mother or father who will attend those parent-teacher conferences, or help with homework, or turn off the TV, put away the video games, read to their child. I speak to you not just as a president, but as a father, when I say that responsibility for our children's education must begin at home. That is not a Democratic issue or a Republican issue. That's an American issue.
Thank you for your time, and I hope you guys learned something.